So Kenny actually wanted me to talk today because, you know, me, I'm winning the contest so far.
Pieces of the Ocean.
Every time I talk about corals, they ultimately wind up dying on me. So I'm not going to sit here and talk today. I haven't done anything differently. I haven't made any changes. I don't plan on making any changes here. You know, the guys, they added some blades up there. Rose dosing a bunch of amino acid products. Kenny's doing the moonshiners. Who do I think's winning? Like, here, come here. You tell me. Who do you think's winning? It's already branching. I'm just happy that it's healthy. The fish nipping here, all of them, this guy especially. So the polyp extension isn't that good during the day, but at night everything looks great. I have plans. I want to add you know, if you can see up here, even though it's pretty extreme, there's a hollow section in the middle of these lights here. So I kind of want to stuff a blade in there, more or less for pictures. I know you guys with LEDs, it's pretty hard to take top-down pictures. So it's nice when you have a strip LED and you can kind of hide it from the top of the water. The advantage that I have definitely is the water. You know, there's a lot more water in here. And the sump, even the sump's 100 gallons. So the stability is unmatched here. I think I might ditch a calcium reactor and go to 2-part here. Yeah, I guess we'll see. I think the contest is lasting until August. Starting to branch, so it'll probably be a colony within 2 months. I don't do moonshiners, but a little bit of whiskey once in a while isn't bad for anybody. It does put them at an advantage because there's a lot of research and you know, trace elements and stuff like that. I did try it at home, and it's funny because my corals got some nice color to them, but they also stopped growing a little bit. So you kind of get that when your aquas stop growing, they kind of color up a little bit better, or if they grow slow, they got better color to them. But in here, it's too soon. I'm not going to try any of that stuff yet. Water changes are good enough for here. You know, there's not many you know, pounds of coral in here yet to really get dictated by if you need trace elements or not. I feel like tenuis, they don't like a heavy flow. They seem to do a lot better. And when I shut the flow off in here to do a water change, the polyps come out on that piece. You could barely see the skeleton. It fits in like pulsing flow, which is why I put it there. Most of my tenuis that are here, they're not in cranking flow. It's all up to the individual because you could have a piece that goes quick. I've bought 2 of the same coral, especially the Goofy Homewrecker. I have them. I have 3 different colonies. 2 of them are next to each other. I have the other one in another tank. They all look completely different. I think it really, you know, it comes down to the amount of food you're putting in because your fish, even though they excrete waste through their gills when they're breathing, you know, if I put a gram of food in here and they put 10 grams of food in there, the fish are going to eat it all. They're going to eat it all in here too. I'm middle ground with fish. So Kenny leans more towards overstock in his tanks, which I've seen great results with that, especially this tank's overstocked too. But I've also seen the same results. I'd just rather not deal with the kids fighting each other because they're sitting here biting each other all day. I just don't want to. You know. I don't really want to trash talk Will, but he has no live rock in his tank.
I don't really want to trash talk Will.
What happens is, all right, mind you, these all except Kenny's tank, this tank right here, every single tank in the store, there's probably about 500 to 800 frags that come out of them every month. You know how it is. Your alkalinity, everything's flying all over the place. Even like inconsistencies with everything else, like bacteria, all that changes. Kenny's tank is untouched. If there's another reason as to why I think he has a upper, you know, higher ground, is his system's untouched. We don't even cut frags out of there nearly at all, especially for the last year. Will's system, I feel like with the lack of live rock, you know, it can't really handle that. Every once in a while, you know, he goes through his up and downs pretty often.
I don't really want to trash talk Will.
And I think it's because of the lack of live rock. He doesn't really do it, other than all the food he's feeding, it's not really different than everything else we do. If he figures that out, then, you know, he'd probably win. Because most of his tenuis in there, they look great. But I really do hope I win, just so, you know, I could prove to you guys that you don't need to be dosing amino acids, all these types of food. You don't need to be doing moonshiners, sending a test every 2 weeks. You know, you could literally just enjoy the hobby and keep it simple, you know?
Okay, so since the last time, I took the competition a lot more serious now because Kenny said, I used to have a tank at home, 100-gallon elos, and I used to grow the Goofy really fast at home. I don't want to exaggerate, but 1 inch a week, all right? So Kenny says, what did you used to do? Go back to your roots. At home, I made it a lot more complicated than I do here because I have the time at home, and I was doing a lot of the aquaforest stuff at home. After my frag died after 4 days or so, I went back to, let me try some of the aquaforest stuff. So let me show you what we're doing now. So first, we tried with the Aquaforest build, and I've seen some good results with the Aquaforest build. So after the build, I seen all my corals grow slightly faster. I could tell because the new growth tips are coming in on a lot of my colonies that wasn't there previously. So after I saw that happen, I was like, all right, let's expand the categories. I do Aquaforest Vitality and the amino mix and a little bit of the Aquaforest pure food. They says let's mix it and let it sit, but I got my coffee frother and it mixes it a lot faster. So you can get one of these on Amazon for $12. And I just pour it in. I give a little bit to the front tank. I do 6 drops of this. Chris says it's just chalk. Chalk and iodine, I think they say that it is. I've noticed that my tank is a lot more colorful and everything grows a little bit faster even. But more colorful is what I've noticed. And that's probably why if you look at the pictures online, my polyps are slightly more colorful and a little bit more bigger than Kenny's and Christopher's. But I don't got the growth like Christopher does. I mean, I see it now and it's looking good. I think Chris is winning because of his T5. So I think my frag tank has stabilized where it originally died in 4 days. I think what I'm going to do is, this is a competition of who grows the fastest. I might have to move it with the T5s. I'm going to sit on this idea for another week or two. It's sitting right here. It looks phenomenal, to be honest with you. The colors are great though. But oh yeah. Yeah, I switched. I used to have that reef brights. I would say maybe 3 feet above my water. Everyone always told me that's not doing jack shit for me, but I didn't believe them. I brought in these brand new AI blades and I lowered my lighting on top of the frag rack so I can color up and grow a little bit faster. We got an AI grow and an AI glow. So these are the difference. So I've seen results immediately after putting them on my tank. Originally, we had the frag right here where I had the triple radions blasting it. I had the bright idea of getting the AI blade, so we had to remove the third radion, and I put it right here. So both AIs and the radions can get it right in this spot, which is perfect. And I don't want to say tremendous color, but there's definitely a color difference with the AI blades over my 3.5 foot reef brights. Not to say reef brights are not good. I feel like my implementation was probably not the best being so high, but I liked it because it gave me confidence to put my corals all the way at the edge over there without feeling like there wasn't enough light. Because now I grow a lot of frags right in this section. The AI blades being this low has really, really upped my game in general. And I think the Aquaforce helps a lot too. After my frag died in 4 days, I think it's a fluke, but I needed to check. So I sent my water out for ICP and it came back mostly good, missing like a few elements. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it wasn't much. So I dosed those elements that I was missing and just started with the Aquaforest regime over here that I got going. I am feeding a lot more, yes. Back then, if I saw my frag racks look like this, I couldn't live with myself. But Kenny always says, don't look at the frag racks, look at the corals. So there we go. We're looking at the corals now. And I want to say, I definitely still have a chance of winning this thing. But we'll see. Chris' frag is pretty encrusted, not going to lie. And Kenny's frag looks like it wants to grow really fast. I'm going to say it's really close at the moment. I think if I moved it in under the T5s, I would definitely win. I don't know if I'm playing catch up. What it is it helped me come out of my shell a little bit. Yeah, because I upgraded the lighting. I went back to my Aquaforest. I feed the tank a little bit more because everyone kept saying it came from Kenny's tank and it starved in my tank instantly. So yeah, so I feel like it helped me a little bit. Maybe not really grow as reef, but go back to my roots a little bit, because when I was here, it's like a factory, so you don't really have time to play. all you do is just trying to churn out corals for the most part, right? This competition helped me maybe play a little bit, maybe regain some of the fun aspects of growing corals for me, right? I've always said since the beginning the T5s are superior in growing SPS. So I'm gonna sit for maybe another month in here for it to like get really settled, move to T5s and kick everyone's ass. I think that's the game plan.
We are 9 weeks into the contest, and quite honestly, we all agree that we all kind of suck, because at 9 weeks time, the fresh should kind of cover the plug by now. I don't know, maybe we're paying it too much attention or presenting it with some challenge. And we're a little bit superstitious here too. You know how Chris doesn't like to talk corals, because when he talks corals and they die on him, you know, but it's really just because, you know, he feeds too much or something. Before I go on, like, I think Chris is leading with his frag because he actually has growth tip. So as you know, with tenuis, they tend to lay down a base and then branches shoot out from the base when they have a substantial encrustment. The original stick that you make the cut from, it becomes dormant. There are exceptions to the rule. Like if you cut the stick, it comes shoot out branches. But usually, if you leave it, the branches won't come out until it lays a nice foundation. I think it has to do with flow. I'm throwing a lot of flow at that location.
I think you just could have placed it better.
So I can see that the frag's actually gotten fatter and thicker. The tip has, you know, split. I also noticed that Chris's encrustment is a lot thinner, almost looking like translucent. I think Will's frag like that too. The base is a lot thicker and it's taken on some color, whereas the Chris's frag is just pure white, thin, more translucent. Because of the lower flow, the core doesn't really need to take on a stronger hole. So that's my theory. You know, again, there's exceptions, like even some of the pieces don't follow the rule. One change here is that there's no more strict reef light, half the light, half the LED blew out. So we replaced the reef light with a AI blade. I just put this on a week ago, so can't really say much about growth. I did notice Chris dosing Aquaforce build with the calcium component, I think with iodine. So it does raise the pH in the tank temporarily, and I'm thinking about doing some of that coral snow here as well. I'm not too concerned about the growth, but there's some cyano showing up in the tank, and I know that dosing coral snow can help combat cyano. I'm going to give it a shot this week or next week and see how that goes, and give you guys an update a month from now. Other than that, the flow is actually stronger today because it's between the power head. Yeah, speaking of fresh, it could be going faster. We usually don't take, not just this tank. I usually don't take much frag from here because it's a small tank. I want the colony to grow a little bit. So just speaking about the differences of this tank and Chris's tank, because these are display tank, and where those are working tank, where we constantly cut from, constantly ship from. The tank that I take care of with that's not getting dosing. So the color, it has the best color in the store. It doesn't grow as fast, but enough for us to generate frag from it on a weekly basis. I think it has a lot to do with the water change, because when we ship frags out of the tank, it gets almost like an 80%, 70%, 80% water change. We also do a schedule weekly water change on it, which is about 20%. Yeah, it's funny. I don't know. Maybe different methods works. You know, there's no one single way to skin the pig, right? Yeah. So I think this tank, historically, the frag take a little bit to take off, but once it starts to take off, once the frag gets mature enough, the colony just grows really fast. So I think we'll see. You know, 9 weeks in, maybe another month to make some difference. Things can happen here. Can take, the frag can take off after lay down a base. So far, Chris is slightly in the lead just because he had that growth tip in the original frag and we don't. But I think the frag here, my frag is a little thicker. The encrustment is also thicker. This is thinner. Chris was complaining that his tank had high phosphate. But also, I think we're feeding a lot, but I feed a lot in this tank. Phosphate here is 0.1, or 0.07, 0.1. pKh is 7. I feed this tank about 4 or 5 times a day, flakes and mices. And whenever I feed this tank, I feed all the other tanks too. Whichever, the display in the front, the working tubs, and then the 300 gallon. Maybe it raises some phosphate in the tank, but again, you can see it doesn't. You could say that, I was trying to sabotage this contest frag, but anyway, I was trying to sabotage this contest frag.
What did he say?
In some sense, actually may help it grow because the additional feeding of nutrients. So yeah, you never know. But we're never afraid of feeding here. We feed a lot, and phosphate is, kept in check. So yeah, so that's the update for 9 weeks. Hopefully, we can give you guys another update in a month or so. Feel free to comment under the video or ask questions on the forum. Thank you for following along, and I'm happy to share the knowledge and share our experience with you. And see you next time.